All right, so the first question that we're going to go through was given to us on YouTube by Thetruthrevealed. All right. Hi, I will be soon coming to Christchurch, New Zealand. Can you make a video about New Zealand banks? All right, so New Zealand banks, basically they work about the same that what you used to back home, but let's get started by mentioning what are the most popular or most commercial banks around the country.
Yeah, so the banks that you'll find in New Zealand include ANZ, Westpac, BNZ, Kiwi Bank, the Co-op Bank, and ASB and TSB. So make sure you write a note of all those guys, because obviously their offerings are always changing, so it wouldn't really be appropriate for us to compare them all right here. But if you make a note of all those banks and go online and check them out, see what they're offering, then you can make your comparison that way.
Do you want to say the name again? So
just to make a note, so that is ANZ, Westpac, BNZ, Kiwi Bank, Co-op Bank, ASB and TSB.
So usually the cost of having a bank account in New Zealand is going to be around the $10 a month. You know, that's kind of like your account maintenance fees that you have to pay. But what we thought would be basically the gist of your question is, how do you open your bank account and how do you choose the right bank to do that? So for choosing the right bank, what I personally look at is that who has the most ATMs, which is those withdrawing machines. I don't know if the term is widely known, but yeah. So the most ATMs. So I think Westpac does have a lot, but a lot of the banks actually allow you to use the other bank's ATM for free. So for example, I know that ANZ lets you use all the Westpac ATMs for free. That means that if you are with ANZ, you can use all the Westpac ATMs and all the ANZ ATMs, giving you a ton of withdrawing options. Another really good bank is Kiwi Bank, because Kiwi Bank is the one which was created by the local post office. So any post office will offer the services of this bank. So even in the most rural areas where you have no bank whatsoever, which does happen a lot in New Zealand, there is always still a post office, and therefore you'll be able to use their banking options. So I think it offers a lot of flexibility to be with Kiwi banks. Now, to open your bank account, you need you need a fair amount of paperwork. So what do you need, Laura?
Yeah, so first of all, you actually need to open your bank account once you arrive in New Zealand, and you'll need to make an appointment, show up in person, and take with you a proof of address. So obviously this is a proof of New Zealand address. If you are just first arriving in the country, a way of doing this is if you're staying at a hostel, for instance, or some sort of accommodation, get permission from those guys to use them as a proof of address. You'll also need a proof of ID. So the most obvious one would be your passport. You'll also need a taxpayer ID. So this is your taxpayer ID from home, and it has loads of different names depending on which country you're from. It could be your social security number, your national insurance number, your what is it in France?
Carte d'identité.
Okay, so that one as well.
Say yes. I beg you.
Carte d'identité. So yeah, it has different names depending on which country you're from, but that's basically the number your tax number from home. You'll also need a copy of your visa, so it could be in your passport or just a printout of your visa if you do have an electronic visa. And also, some banks might require you to pay a fee for opening your bank account, so just be prepared for that. As well as you might have to make a minimum deposit pay. So usually that's around $500 to do a minimum deposit.
And that's to activate your account. So your account wouldn't be fully activated until you have reached a certain amount of money on it. It doesn't mean that you have to always have $500 on your account. It's just it needs to pass the $500 mark, and then boom, then you can withdraw straight away. So literally, it could be as easy as depositing $500 and then walking out of the bank, going to the ATM, withdrawing $500 and be done with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So also speaking of minimum deposits, you will actually want to put some money in your bank account that you've just created at some point, I'm sure. So I think it's good for us to now talk about actually how to transfer money from your overseas bank account over to your New Zealand bank account. So do you want to talk more about that, or shall I go ahead?
Well, so to transfer money from one bank account to the other, it usually involves a lot of fees, and very often they are kind of hidden fees as well. So usually you have a fees from your bank back home that's going to say, okay, it's $15 or 15 euros to transfer money from your account to overseas. Then they transfer the money, and then to receive it on the New Zealand end, the bank is going to charge you another $15. On top of that, they usually use really, really terrible exchanges rate, where you're going to be losing a lot of money while doing that. So it's really important to shop around. From our experience with Laura, we usually use a company XE, which is kind of there's many of those companies like TransferWise and everything like that, but we find XE has always the better rate, and it's always been better for us. So basically on the XE website, you're going to be basically transferring money to one of their bank accounts in your home country. So that has no fee whatsoever. So let's say from the UK to the UK bank account. And then XE will actually transfer you the money from a New Zealand account to their New Zealand account. It's a very seamless process. It's very easy. It's one of those international exchange or international transfer companies, and they are super useful, and they save a lot of money. I mean, one time I did a transfer and I saved enough to actually pay for a skydive. That is that good. So make sure that you do look into this option, because the banks can really take a massive chunk of money from that. They're really good at screwing you over for that.
Just to make it easier for you guys, though, we'll put a link to that company in the description when we do the rebroadcast of this video. And we'll also add links to how to open a bank account and give you advice on how to transfer money. We have articles on Backpacker Guide about all those subjects. We'll make sure to put them in the description when we do the rebroadcast of this video.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, so the final thing you'll want to do when you're leaving New Zealand is to close your bank account. It's really much easier to do this in person before leaving. Doing it over the phone is a real pain. It's just a real hassle. You're probably going to end up not getting all the money you want back out of your bank account. So it's best to do this before you leave. So the way to do this is to book yourself an appointment, and when you go to your appointment, take your proof of ID, which again would be your passport, or it's usually the best to take your passport, but your driving license as well, and your card for the branch. So that could be your debit card or FPOS card, as they call it in New Zealand. It's usually a very quick process. Usually takes about 10 minutes or 20 minutes if they're being a bit slow, which I think banks can usually be a bit slow, can't they?
Yeah.
And then that's it. Then you close your bank account. They'll give you a check with the remaining balance, and off you go. That's about it, really.
Boom. Yeah. So if you do have any follow-up questions, in the comments below, so we can do another video for you guys to give you some more information. And if you do like this video or find it useful, click on this like button. If you're watching live right now, click on the like button, and if you watch a rebroadcast, click on like as well.